So Behavior has released the developer update for the next upcoming chapter named the End Transmission. This chapter is gonna drop on June 13th, and this post includes all the changes that are officially gonna be making it to the game. So let's go through them. Alright, let's go with the Singularity. So the Singularity, I don't know if you guys played the killer. I played it quite a lot, and I played the entire PTB in both sides. I can say the killer, it has a good potential, but right now it's an X tier killer that feels like a B tier on practicality. It has a lot of flaws and people are getting blinded for the overclock power, which technically is good, but when you start playing with the killer, you see how frustrating it is. But hopefully these changes that Behavior are gonna do to the Singularity will alleviate some of the frustration that this killer is actually facing right now. So let's start with the hot topic, which was EMPs. EMPs were extremely strong on the PTB. You can shut down his power almost the entire match. For the fact that they pray infinitely, you also can grab it on the way, and there were plenty of boxes across the map. So Behavior reduced the supply cases to 5 instead of 7. I think this is more reasonable for the fact that the infection doesn't work like Weskers or Nemesis, where those are limited, so you have to make a choice when to cleanse the infection. But with Singularity, that's not the case. The infection is really not meaningful at all, other than pretty much teleporting and proccing overclock. So adding never understood why there were so many cases available across the map for something that prints infinitely. Now the supplies will take 90 seconds instead of 80. However, the multiplier for interacting with the box is still 4 times faster. So this is gonna make it a little slower for the printout, but you still be able to grab it instantly. Another good change they made were survivors that is currently holding an EMP no longer see the auras of supply cases. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did this when I was a survivor. I was able in one chase to grab 3 EMPs on the way. I'm not kidding you. I could plan ahead because I can see the boxes from far away. I can just connect the loops in certain maps to grab every single EMP on the way and chain EMP back to back to back. It was ridiculous. So I'm glad they did this change, because at least this will make your usage of EMP more meaningful and also have some sort of like decision making. Now another change that we heard this to the Singularity was to the jam bypass. Supposedly it was not that obvious when the player was entering the bipod. I could definitely see it. It's either red or green. They make it where it's more obvious now that it's jam. I think what is maybe a good change is not the change I was hoping for, that the jam bipod should have shown as an aura, white or yellow, and remove the one that you last interacted. Because right now when you leave a bipod, that bipod is gonna be highlighted in yellow for 5 seconds. Next, the most controversial buff has been reverted. Behavior is missing the point of the executioner. That right now is not the power, is the add-ons. I think the add-ons is what needs to be reworked and buffed, because this is one of the killer that has the worst add-ons in the game. You can use this killer without add-ons and it would not make that much of a difference. I feel Behavior needs to address more the add-ons, making his power more interesting, like different shapes, different ways to apply torment with the add-ons. So I feel like that's where Behavior needs to tackle if they want to be the executioner. I was fine with the change. However, with the cage problem is a very good point. You can just constantly make somebody go to a cage and turn them out really quickly. So I know where the community is coming from when it comes to that concern. Now perks, this is where Behavior kinda pooped the party pretty much, because they gaslighted everyone thinking that this was gonna be nerfed, but Scavenger basically got buffed in a way. They increased the number of great skill checks required to 5 instead of 4, and then once this is activated, the generator speed is gonna be reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. Now this is where I don't know where Behavior was getting feedback, because this perk alone was already problematic, but now Scavengers is gonna be used more than once per trial. So I don't know why Behavior is so obsessed with making gen speed ridiculous when it's already a problem. For the fact that almost all the good perks of Gen Regression have been nerfed into oblivion, I don't know. There's already busted setups with hyper focus and stuff like that. Even with boot to last, it's not the fact the perks, it's the toolboxes that are busted. And I don't think behavior is understanding this and how perks like this can affect the game even greater, because you can bring 4 survivors with 1 perk and toolbox, and it's gonna definitely create a problem into the game. So I won't be surprised it gets nerfed on mid-chapter, because as of now, even with these changes, I feel like it just got buffed instead of nerfed. Next perk is machine learning. I think machine learning, while it's a very good idea, I think it's very niche for the fact that you have to compromise gens in order to get value out of it, and also it's a perk that relies on other perks in order to get some sort of value. For example, a setup that you can do here is machine learning, Tinkerer, and Deadlock, for example. When Tinker procs, you can go to that gen that is about to pop, to compromise it, and then Deadlock to know which other gen is more progressed, so then you can go there and compromise it after the previous one pop. However, it's very uncertain when the gen is gonna pop, so you don't know this information. You can have an estimate. That's where basically decreases the value of the perk, because sometimes we'll proc in moments that you don't need it, and by the time you catch a survivor, the buffs are already worn out. So you have to be very lucky that you're gonna be in a chase and somebody pop the gen you compromise and then get value out of it. I think Michael Myers is gonna be the #1 user for this perk, and it has to be completely lethal, because otherwise it's just a regular M1. There's no point of equipping this perk. Lastly here, Force Hesitation also got a buff. Now the hinder effect is gonna be 20 instead of 15, and they reduced the cooldown to 30 seconds instead of 40. However, I still feel like this perk is almost useless for the fact that it's only targeted for people that love to do flash save. Or this perk can be used in a toxic way where you can slug someone, bait the slug, wait until somebody picks the survivor, hitting again, and then the survivor who picked the survivor up will be hindered for 20% and then catching afterwards. So that's the only 2 situations that I see this perk at least getting some value out of it, but again, it's too niche. And with the current meta, I don't think there's very much wiggle room to apply or have a niche build. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to read yourself, I put the link on the description below. Leave a like, subscribe. I'm gonna be posting more DVD videos once this drops. I'll see you guys on the next week, and have a great weekend. Peace.